Well, good afternoon. So today, let me talk to you about the various cloud computing technologies we have. So we are supposed to discuss about what is the hardware and infrastructure we are supposed to build up to have when we are developing the cloud solutions. So previous units we have covered about what is actually the cloud introduction about the cloud computing. Okay, so what type of the basics of cloud computing, their applications, and we have discussed about when we are supposed when if we are having an organization. So when you are supposed to move to the cloud, when you are not supposed to move towards the cloud. Okay, and then what are the regulatory issues, the security concerns we had discussed earlier. And also in the third chapter, we discussed about the various big organizations which are offering the cloud solutions like Google, ENC, NetApp, Microsoft, and Amazon, Salesforce.com, IBM. We have discussed and few partnerships. Okay, so we have not covered that partnership part. We will discuss uh, about it later on. And also we have to discuss about the business case of going towards the cloud computing. So this I will cover later on because these all things are already will be covered in the other chapters. So if anything is left, we'll cover it in the later sessions. Today I will go to the second unit where we are supposed to discuss about the hardware and infrastructure. What type of hardware and infrastructure is supposed to be developed, is required when you are going towards the cloud solution. So now, in this here, we need to have the right hardware and software. Uh, right hardware and software when we are supposed to develop the cloud solution. So next, now first, if we talk about the hardware and infrastructure, who is actually going to access the cloud? Mostly, the clients are the persons who are the one who are going to access the cloud, the end users here. So there are different types of clients are there who are supposed to link to the cloud, and each offers different ways to each one offers a different way to interact with your data and application. Means the client actually is the one who is going to access any data or information which is placed on the cloud, as well as they are the one who is going to enjoy the services which are provided by the cloud. So now, depending upon the organization needs and its organization and its need, so you have the combination of devices. Different kinds of devices are generally used by the clients here. So how you interact with your data is based upon the clients will be the combination of factors, what your needs are and benefits and limitations of these types of clients. So what type of client devices you are supposed to choose. Now again, it depends upon the organization, or it depends upon the various factors like what are your needs, what are the benefits, what are the limitations of the client types. So first, if I talk about the first type of client type here, so we are supposed to have the mobile clients. So we have the wide range of mobile clients, right from laptops to personal digital assistants to smartphones like iPhone or BlackBerry. So see this particular book, if you observe that term itself. So this book is written in the days where people use BlackBerry phones and iPhones. Today, most other people are using the smartphones, and almost knowingly or unknowingly, every person is actually accessing the cloud. Okay, so these actually these type of mobile clients, in the sense if you are using a mobile clients or a smartphone. Okay, so what you are going to do, you are going to connect via a wireless network to access your cloud. But laptop users can connect to the cloud and access application just as if they are sitting at the desk. So if you're using a laptop there, so it is just similar to your PC. You can connect it to your cloud, your applications, similar to your desk there. So mobile clouds, if we are using, they have the security and speed concerns. So see what is the difference between these mobile clients and the mobile clients, as well as the desktop, the regular desktops which are using. So just for comparison, if I say that the processing speed of your mobile phone is comparatively slow when compared to a high speed desktop. And the amount of RAM which is providing. So nowadays, of course, nowadays your even if your mobile phone is coming with 6 GB or 8 GB of RAM, but earlier these devices used to have very small amount of RAM. Okay. Next, we used to the next factor is the processing speed, the amount of memory which it is offering, the amount of memory which it is offering here. So it offers about 64 GB to 128 GB of memory, but today we are using 1 TB or 2 TB hard disk there. And main concern is about the display here. The display is also small. It's not like the wide screen which you're using, the big screen of your, it is not like the big screen of your laptop or your desktop here. You will generally have a small screen regarding your smartphones or any personal digital assistants. So comparatively they are small, but you generally, if you think about this mobile clients have the security and speed concerns, because the clients will be connecting to the cloud various locations. They may not have the optimized connection. Means here, the main problem with the mobile clients is the connectivity problem, because you are going to connect from various places. Sometimes you will have a good connectivity, sometimes you may not have a good connectivity, and the speed varies. And not all applications need speed connections, and mobile users probably are at now, another point here is the mobile users may not put a huge gigabytes of data into the database. They may just access it, but and it may not be possible to transfer huge gigabytes of data at the speed at which your desktop is working. And since when we see when you are developing an application, remember today the people, when people are putting in the mind about the mobile client when they develop the application, means how the content is supposed to be displayed when you're using mobile client, or how I mean how it should be displayed on the desktop, and how it should be displayed on the mobile client. They are actually taking this into consideration, and they are designing their application accordingly. Just a simple example for you to give is, if you open a Wikipedia page, so that page actually is widely open. So now, for example, if I open a Wikipedia page here, okay, so say for example, see here, a Wikipedia page. Okay, so now, pardon. Now, see, when I open this page, so what happens here is, so it is displayed widely. Okay, it is displayed widely. Now, the same content, if you open it on your mobile phone, so the same content will be displayed in some other sense. It's not displayed like this. So it is adjusted according to your mobile phone, and it is been displayed. Okay, that's the difference. So people are putting in mind about how to display the content on your mobile client or on your desktop. They are thinking and they are designing their respective application. Okay, and while a mobile user won't put tons of information into the database, an application can still be developed to let them to access it. So we are not putting huge amount of data using mobile phone, but still you can develop an application. The security, if I talk about the security here, it is a two-sided issue here. On one hand, it is easier to lose or misplace a laptop, and what is the information is on it can be compromised. On the other hand, if the data is maintained on the cloud and the user only has select files on his or her laptop, the laptops are stolen, only the minimal set of data will be compromised. Now, this is a simple example, a good example. So if you're putting everything on your mobile phone or your laptop, and if it is stolen, then the data gets compromised. On the other hand, if everything you are just putting on the cloud and just you are accessing that files as and when required, then minimum amount of data will be compromised. So I will just give you an example which personally happened with me last month or so. In the I think suppose in the month of March, I think so, in the March ending or so I lost my mobile. So somebody stolen it in the market though. Then I lost most of the information which I have not taken backup here. But at the same time, most of the information which is stored on the cloud, okay, I could retain most of the information via cloud in my new mobile. So that's what we can do here. So the data is compromised. You can lose the data whenever you lose this mobile client. No. So mobile clients are one of the type of devices which are going to access the cloud. Then we have about the thin clients. So I hope in the first two lectures I discussed about the thin clients and thick clients. But again, if we talk about what is a thin client here, it is a computer which has no hard drive, no DVD-ROM, and simply it will display what's on the server. So it is just a display device. Only the things are been displayed here. So thin clients may have a role in your organization, but likely only if they have if you have an in-house cloud. So they have a good role if you are having an in-house cloud. Means if you are maintaining a private cloud by yourself, then it will be a good candidate to use. Okay, and it depends upon what type of applications or services you are accessing on the cloud. If the client only needs to access cloud-based services or accessing a virtualized server, I'm sorry, then the thin clients are greater option there. So if you're having a services which are offered by the cloud, and means if suppose everything is offered by the cloud, okay, or if you're having a virtualized server, then thin clients probably is a good candidate here. So they are very less expensive than thick clients, okay, and are very better to maintain and use with less energy. And there is also a high level of security if you are using thin clients here, because no data is stored on the client. All the data resides in your data center or on the cloud. So the risk of a physical breach is very small. So physically, if someone has stolen your device, your thin client there, then nothing you're going to lose because nothing is stored on that device. So everything is stored on the cloud. So as I mentioned earlier, we consider in an organization the information as a blood of the organization. So if you are retaining that blood, if you are retaining the information, if you are securing the information, then you are at a low risk here. Next, we have about the thick clients. Thick clients, as I told you, that these are just like our desktops. It's not just desktop; it is a desktop there. So because it has a hard disk, it has a processing capability, it has a memory, everything it does has, and now it is just going to connect to the cloud client there. So whenever you're likely you likely already have applications installed on your end user machine, while you can upload some of your applications to the cloud, chances are there still you're going with the mission critical applications, you simply need to stay in the house. So when you're using the thick clients there, so what you can do here is mission critical applications, mission critical data, mission critical applications, you can maintain it in house, and only those applications which can upload it to the cloud can be sent to the, I mean, those the applications which can be offloaded can be maintained on the cloud. So these machines can certainly still connect to virtualized server. And if you don't want to spend any more money for clients, just use the machines that you already have. Now he is just giving you a suggestion that if you don't want to buy anything clients, especially already we have certain machines which are already for us, just you can use them. Okay, so because if the user needs to maintain files on their own machines and run programs that does not exist on the cloud, then thin clients are the good option. That means if some applications if you want to run in-house, okay, at your place, and if you want to maintain some files, then your thick clients will be a better option. Now, security-wise, thick clients are more vulnerable to the attacks there. So they are more exposed to the attacks than the thin clients there, because as I just said that if data is residing at your place, then you are at a risk. So the people actually tend to look for the information. They want to access the information. So just అంటే ఇక్కడ మనం ఎలా చెప్పొచ్చు అంటే ఎక్కడైతే కంటెంట్ ఉంటుందో అక్కడే ఏం చేస్తాడంటే ఒక అటాక్ చేసే ఛాన్సెస్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటాయండి. థిన్ క్లయింట్స్లో ఏంటంటే అసలు మనం డేటాని ప్లేస్ చేయం, ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అంతా కూడా క్లౌడ్లో ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి మనకేంటంటే సెక్యూరిటీ పరంగా థిన్ క్లయింట్స్ మనకి highly secured అంటున్నాం. థిక్ క్లయింట్స్ ఏంటంటే when the data is also when the data is stolen, then what happens here is the data may be attacked. And also since the data is stored on the machine hard drive, the machine is stolen, then the data would be compromised. And there is also an issue of reliability also. If the client fails, all it takes is for another thin client to get plugged in on the user work environment right there. Means, see here, another very important concern here is if a thin client fails, simply you can bring another thin client and you can attach and you can start using. Nothing is lost because the data is already residing on the cloud. Only thing here is you just connect to that thin client and you can start using it. But whereas in case of thin clients, okay, sorry, in the case of thick clients, if it fails, whatever the data is stored on the machine, okay, including its operating system, all the configuration settings will be lost, and new system will have to be configured for the user there. అంటే ఒక ఆల్రెడీ ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ సిస్టమ్ థిక్ క్లయింట్ కనుక పాడైతే ఏమవుతుందంటే మళ్ళీ మనం కాన్ఫిగర్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంటుందండి. సో దట్ ఈస్ అబౌట్ ద థింగ్. సో 3 types of clients we can use. Now, if I next talk about the security here, security is the number one issue when it comes to the cloud computing. Okay, because a third party is because storing your data, so it's not, it is easy to worry about security risk of the cloud solution, but means third party is going to store the data. You don't know what is going on there. Okay, it is easy to worry about the security risk of the cloud solution, but we can have let's not overlook the inherent security benefits there. So see here, when your data is placed in some other's machine, if it is placed on some other's cloud, some other place there, then it will be at a risk there because uh, you don't know whether it is secured or not. If somebody is attacking, what type of measures are taken. So these all things will be going on in our mindset. But at the same time, the vendors which are providing are taking enough measures so as to secure our data. So the next point here, if I talk about, is the data leakage. The biggest benefit is the centralization of the data. When the data is centralized, what happen here is everything, all the security measures are carried out at one place, as we have discussed earlier, and only the clients are just going to access it. Organizations have an issue with an asset protection in no small part because data is being stored in numerous places like laptops and desktops. So generally, see here, if the data is not a centralized place, so if it is distributed, it is placed in different places, then what happens here is you need to provide security at all the places. Okay, at all the places. But at the same time, if it is placed at one, means if the data is stored at one place, if the data is residing at a centralized location, only that machine is just must must have enough security measures. All you can do here is, whether if you are using the thick clients there, you can the clients are apt, they will download the files, maintain them on the hard drive, and there is a plenty of laptops out there with non-encrypted files. Means if you are using thick clients there, what happens here is you will download the file, you will be start working on that. Then again, you have this non-encrypted files will be there which can be stolen. But if you're using the thin clients, you have better chance of centralization of data. Okay, because there is a less chance of data leakage. The data cannot be leaked there. So that's why most of the people are preferring to offer cloud services via thin clients. Okay, next point here discuss is also the centralization provides you the opportunity for better monitoring, because as I just told you, it can be monitored. The data is at one place, it is easier to check your data. Then offloading the work. Another security benefit is not so much a technology, but the fact that you don't have to do it by yourself. It is your cloud provider to provide adequate security. Now, you are not the person who is going to much think about the security here. Most of the security uh, mostly your cloud provider is the one who is going to provide an adequate security. So because he is the one who is offering you all the services, it is his responsibility to maintain the data to provide your data in a secure way. Okay, and if the data is at your place, you need to provide the IT security staff 24/7 to look after the security. అంటే డేటా మనం యూస్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందండి, సెక్యూరిటీ అంతా కూడా మనం ప్రొవైడ్ చేయాల్సి వస్తుందండి. మనకు ఐటీ సెక్యూరిటీ మెజర్స్ మనం తీసుకోవాలి, సెక్యూరిటీ స్టాఫ్ అన్న వాళ్ళు ఉండాలి. బట్ అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే డేటా అంతా కూడా ఏంటి, సమ్ థర్డ్ పార్టీ మెయింటైన్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు, సో దెర్ ఈస్ ద ఫ్యాక్ట్ ఇస్ the matter of fact is that the cloud provider might offer more security features, okay, than before. And because there are so many clients are paying, allows the cloud for to have deeper security, okay, a stronger simply because of the economy of scale is evolved. Because you are many clients are been paying for them, so they can take a stronger security measures here. Okay, stronger security measures. Now, next is logging. Logging can also be improved. What is this logging here? Logging is in the sense recording. What type of logging is nothing but recording. So providers can add as much as memory as they need to extend logging. Logging, you can have you can record what operations are been performed, who actually has been accessed, what type of data has been accessed. Everything you can record at centralized data. So you can just increase the much memory and you can log all the information which is going on. Next is the forensics. Forensics in the sense if there is any breach. So if your security, if data got compromised, if someone has stolen your data or someone has disturbed your data, a cloud provider can respond to the incident with less downtime than if you had to investigate the breach locally. So if it is you who are actually suppose has to look after the security breach, it may take time, but your cloud provider will respond very promptly because it is not only your data he's maintaining, he's maintaining plenty of data of other clients also. So therefore, it is easy to build up a forensic server online, and it costs almost nothing until it comes to into use. So it is less expensive for a cloud provider. He can develop this online forensic server. So if any problem occurs, what you can simply here is you can simply clone the machine and you can check for the problems offline. You can do an offline analysis also. And because many companies don't have a dedicated in-house incident response team, if there is a problem, IT staff has to quickly figure out the new job of taking the server down, quickly investigating, getting back it online in the minimum production downtime. Now, for example, if it is in-house, if you are maintaining in-house, if it is not in the cloud there, then if any problem occurs, so we are not supposed to maintain a team which will actually look into the problem. If certainly some problem exists, if you come across any problem, the IT staff has to quickly figure out the new job of taking the server down. Means the IT person has to bring the server down. అంటే వాళ్ళే సర్వర్ని డౌన్ చేసుకుని ఎక్కడ ఏం జరిగింది ఇన్వెస్టిగేట్ చేసుకుని మళ్ళీ మినిమం టైంలో మనకి ఏంటంటే ఆన్లైన్లో తేవాల్సి వస్తుందండి. కానీ ఇప్పుడు ఏమైందంటే because it is maintained by a third party, the provider will look after all these things. Next is the development. So even more news is that the security vendors aren't in the dark about the whole cloud thing. They are actively developing products that can apply to the virtual machines on the cloud. Now the vendors, the security vendors who are actually offering you the security services, they are also offering you the products that can be applied to the virtual machines on the cloud. అంటే ఎవరైతే ఈ యొక్క సెక్యూరిటీ సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ని తయారు చేస్తారో వాళ్ళు కూడా ఏంటంటే వర్చువల్ మిషన్స్ కోసం, క్లౌడ్స్ కోసం ఏంటంటే దే ఆర్ యాక్చువల్లీ డెవలపింగ్ ద అప్లికేషన్స్ there. So the vendors have the unique opportunity to in the cloud there. Since it is a new ground, there is a new opportunity for them who are open-minded enough to imagine that. Because the cloud computing is somewhat new, so it is hardly about 10 years old or 15 years old there. So they have an enough opportunity to develop new products for this cloud offering. Next is about the auditing. Auditing in the sense as an IT professional, so you have a headache of securing your own local network. But when you send your data to the cloud, a new set of issues arise. So when as an IT professional, you need to have you need to secure your whole local network. So in a local network, you need to get secured. See, auditing is very important because you'll audit, you'll see whether you look for what type of measures you are taking, what type of security measures, or how everything is laid, how the infrastructure is laid, is everything is right or wrong. అంటే ఆడిటింగ్ జనరల్గా మనం ఏం చేస్తామండి, అన్నీ కరెక్ట్గా ఉన్నాయా లేదా, అన్ని స్టాండర్డ్స్కి మీట్ అవుతున్నాయా లేదా అన్న విషయాన్ని మనం చూస్తామండి. అంటే లోకల్గా మనం ఆడిట్ చేసినప్పుడు, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చూడండి, మన బుక్స్ అవనివ్వండి, మన సాఫ్ట్వేర్ అవనివ్వండి, లేదా whatever area you take, if you are performing audit, there are some certain standards which are supposed to be followed, supposed to be followed, and we have to meet that auditing means meet that expectations there. Likewise, if it is a cloud there, it is a new set of issues there because your data is now being stored on someone else equipment. ఇప్పుడు someone because the data is stored, అంటే మన దగ్గర స్టోర్ అయినప్పుడు మనం మెయింటైన్ చేసే మెజర్స్ ఒకలా ఉంటాయి. కానీ ఇప్పుడైతే థర్డ్ పార్టీ లో మనం డేటాని స్టోర్ చేస్తున్నాము, ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఏంటంటే, సో దెర్ ఆర్ సమ్ న్యూ ఇష్యూస్ విచ్ ఆర్ బీన్ రేస్డ్ హియర్. సో ద సేమ్ compliance is if I talk about this compliance means the submission or the confirmation. If you talk about the same security issues that your organization deals with the with or the sorts of issues that software as service providers face. So whatever the same type of security issues when our own organization deals with, the same issues are dealt by your software as service. Securing means you have to secure the network, the hardware issues, applications, and data. So you have to secure your data, you have to secure your applications, the hardware, and the infrastructure, everything, network. So, but the compliance adds on the level of attack. Regulations like Sarbanes-Oxley, Grammy, Leach-Billy, and HIPAA, and the industry standards like Payment Card Industry Security Standard, PCI DSS, many things are particularly challenged here. So some regulations are there which are laid by some governments. Like, see, we have some ISO. We generally talk about the ISO. That is the International Organization for Standardization. They generally have some standards. They actually look for some standards there. So now what happens here is we are supposed to perform, so offer such regulations, rules and regulations. We have to meet such regulations when you are actually offering the compliance, the submission. Okay, submission or the confirmation when we are providing the security. Prior to SAS's compliance would be managed few tasks. Means if it is not about the software as service, we just have the fewer tasks which are supposed to be maintained, like identify the users and access privileges. So who are the users, what type of privileges they have. Okay, then identify the sensitive data. You must identify what is the sensitive data, how, where it is located, how it is encrypted, and document this for auditors and regulators. So what you need to do here is you need to identify the users and also the access privileges which are given to the users, as well as the sensitive data. You need to identify the sensitive data, and you need to see where it is located, how it is actually encrypted, and you document these all things there. Okay, so SAS steps make more complicated. So if these are all without SAS, so if you are bringing the software as service, a cloud computing service there, then it becomes more and more complicated, because if you store compliance sensitive data with your SAS provider, it is difficult to know where the data is being stored. It could be on the provider's equipment, or even it can be in the equipment of one of the provider's partners there. So now you can say that here that if the data is stored on the DAS, using this SAS there, software as a service, so you cannot guarantee that the data will be stored on your partner's machine only. It may be scattered. It may be stored on some other. It may not be stored on your provider's machine. It may be stored on some other's machine also, some other's partner of your provider there. In such cases, the SAS brings with a number of regulations using PCI DSS, as I just told you, the payment card industry data security standard. So one of the regulations here, so within a PCI DSS are regulations for service providers, They have a requirement 12.8 for PCI mandates. The service providers must comply and contractually acknowledge the responsibility for protecting credit card data. Now here in specific, this payment card industry data security standard is there. So under their requirements 12.8 అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ పిఎస్ఐ డిఎస్ఎస్ వాళ్ళు 12.8 క్లాస్ కింద వాళ్ళు ఏంటంటే ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే అండి, we should compliant and contractually acknowledge the responsibility of protecting our credit card data. So అందులో one of the appendix A goes even more depth, laying out some rules and regulations. సమ్ రూల్స్ అండ్ రెగ్యులేషన్స్ కూడా ఇందులో ఉన్నాయండి. ఆ రెగ్యులేషన్స్ని మనం ఏంటంటే ఖచ్చితంగా మనం మీట్ అవ్వాలండి. పీసీఐ అపెండిక్స్ ఏలో కొన్ని రూల్స్ అండ్ రెగ్యులేషన్స్ మనకి ఇక్కడ చెప్పాను. ఆ రూల్స్ అండ్ రెగ్యులేషన్స్ని మనం ఏంటంటే కంపల్సరీగా మనం మీట్ అవ్వాలండి. సో I will just talk about this PCI appendix in the next class, and then we will discuss about the network related issues, what type of network we are supposed to maintain. Okay, the public internet and also the other issues. Okay, other issues regarding this the technology, the infrastructure, about the cloud computing and infrastructure, hardware and the infrastructure. Okay, so any doubts, Mahesh?
No, sir.
Okay, so please follow